Hi everyone, so we are now getting into graphing quadratics. This is my second video. So now we're just going to go ahead and get into it. So if you watched my first one, we know what a quadratic is. So let's go ahead and just dive into it. First step I like to do is just go ahead and draw my X and Y axis on my paper. That way we just go ahead and have it. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of draw it like this. And then draw it like that. So we're going to say this is your X and this is your Y. Okay, so we kind of already have that down, and let's go ahead and get into our work. So first step in our graphing, we need to identify A, B, and C. So we have f of x equals negative 3x squared plus 12x minus 8. So our A, our B, and our C. Our A is negative 3, our B is 12, and our C is negative 8. Make sure you are taking the signs. See, negative 3, negative 3. Positive 12, so I just wrote a 12. Negative 8 or minus 8, negative 8. Take the signs, okay? Now, let's go ahead and figure out our concavity, okay? To figure out if it is concave up or concave down, we need to look at our A, okay? So our A is going to be negative 3, and our sign is a negative, okay? So if it's a negative, we know that it is going to end up being concave down, okay? Remember, so our A is negative. Remember, if our A was positive, that means it'd be concave up. But in this case, it is negative, so we can say concave down. Okay? So negative, negative, that's how that one ends up looking. Okay? Now, step 3. We need to identify our axis of symmetry. So step 3, axis of symmetry. And if we remember what the axis of symmetry is, it is that dotted line that, is right in the middle of our graph. This is the axis of symmetry, is that dotted line. And the axis of symmetry, we have to find the x using our formula, negative 1 times B over 2 times A, okay? So if we know that it's negative 1 times whatever B is and 2 times whatever A is, let's go ahead and fill that in. So B is going to be 12, and A is negative 3. So we know negative 1 times 12 is going to be negative 12, and 2 times negative 3 is negative 6, and negative 12 divided by negative 6, so negative divided by negative is a positive, 12 divided by 6 is 2. So for our axis of symmetry, our x equals 2. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and just box that as this answer for this section, axis of symmetry. All right. Now, let's go ahead and put our axis of symmetry on our graph, okay? So if we know it's a positive 2, we're going to come to our origin, go over 1, 2, and we know we're going to go ahead and put our dotted line right here. Okay. So now we have our axis of symmetry right here. And I'll even just write axis of symmetry. So we remember what exactly is going on here. Okay? Now, next step. We are going to be finding, number 4, our vertex. So for our vertex, we already have our x. Now we need to find our y. And so we're going to go back to our original equation right up here and rewrite it down here. So we have f of x equals negative 3x squared plus 12x minus 8. Okay, so we know that we have our x, pretty much f of x means y, so we're finding our y, and we are just going to take this and put it into our x, replace our x's with 2. So essentially we are saying f of x equals, so negative 3 times x squared plus 12 times x minus 8. We are putting that 2 into the blanks right here and right here. And let's go ahead and just put it into our calculator. However you want to calculate it, you can. Okay, so negative 3 parentheses 2 squared plus 12 times 2 minus 8. Let me just check to make sure my calculator has it in all correctly with our 2's, and that's our y value. So f of x, or our y, equals 4. So our vertex is x is 2 and y is now 4. So there is our vertex. Let's go ahead and put that into, put that on our graph. So 2, 4, okay? So let's go ahead and do this. So we go 1, 2, positive 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So right there, and I'll even write that right here. So I'll call this our vertex, okay? So now we already know it's going to be concave down, so we know it's going to be going kind of like this, but we need to finish making the rest of our graph so we know when we draw this out where these points are. So in order to do that, we have to create our table. And I'll put the table right here. So we're saying step 5. We're going to write table right here. Make sure your table has about 5 blanks. So we have x and we have y. Okay, so we know this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Let me fix these lines a little bit better. Okay, right in the middle, so right here, we're going to write our vertex. And our vertex was 2 and 4. And I'm going to go over that in red because I wrote it in red over here so we know where this came from. 2 and 4. Okay? All right. Anyway, okay, so let's keep moving on. So we know we're going to be writing smaller numbers than 2 here, and we're making sure we're going in order, and then the bigger ones that follow are down here. So 2, 3, 4, 2, 1, 0. So it goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. See how it goes in order? And just like we did with our vertex, we're plugging in 0 as our x value into the equation. So our equation is, I'm going to write it right here, negative 3x squared plus 12x minus 8. Okay, so all we're doing is we're trying to find our y, so we're going to say negative 3 times whatever x is going to be, 0. 0. Let me put the square, it's like 3 times 0 squared plus 12, and I'm putting the parentheses in so you know where I'm pulling everything from. So negative 3 times 0 squared plus 12 times 0 minus 8. Okay, so these are where the x's are, and this is your new x. Okay, let's put it into our calculator. So negative 3 times 0 squared plus 12 times 0 minus 8. And that is negative 8. So negative 8 goes right here. Okay, same down here. So we have negative 3 times whatever our x is squared plus 12 times whatever our x is minus 8. Our x is 1. So let's put that in there, and then we're going to put it into our calculator. Negative 3 times 1 squared plus 12 times 1 minus 8. And we get 1. So a 1 goes in our blank right here. Now, we already did our vertex right here, so let's go ahead and jump down to 3. So we have negative 3 times blank squared plus 12 times blank minus 8. And whatever goes in our parentheses, this is our new x. So we're going to write 3 here and 3 here. Let's put it into our calculator. Negative 3 times 3 squared plus 12 times 3 minus 8. And we get 1 again. And look, it's already looking like, you know, our vertex and these two are matching. So I anticipate that this one's going to be a negative 8, but let's just check it. Negative 3 times whatever our new x is squared plus 12 times whatever our new x is right here minus 8. Let's put in our x. 4 and 4. Okay. So put it into our calculator. Negative 3 times 4 squared plus 12 times 4 minus 8. And that is a negative 8. Perfect. Negative 8. And we can just check it. So 1 and 1 is here. Negative 8 and negative 8 is here. Awesome. Let's go ahead and graph our points. Okay. So coming back up here. Our first one down here is 0, negative 8. Okay, let's graph it up here. 0, negative 8. We're going to go down 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8. I'm going to put the point there, and I'm going to extend my graph. It is okay to do that, you know, because like that. 0, 8, negative 8. 0, negative 8. 0, and then we counted down 8. Okay? 1, 1. So we go to the right 1 because it's positive 1, and up 1 because it's positive. 1, 1. Awesome. Now, 2, 4. We already have that here. 2, 4. That's our vertex. Next one, 3, 1. Start at origin. 1, 2, 3, up 1. 3, 1. Okay. Now, down here we have 4, negative 8. Okay. So we know 4, positive 4, go to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. Everything is lining up. So now we're going to go ahead and connect our points like this. And like that. And there you have it. We've just graphed this one right here.